Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the Hello Velocity podcast. I'm so glad you're here. And today we're talking about a very important topic for leaders, especially, and that is well being. This is something that a lot of leaders honestly forget to prioritize, but it is so important for both ourselves and the people that we're working with, and honestly, our family members. So let's dive into today's episode. As a leader, inherently, we're going to be focused on the people around us, right? The people on our team, the people we're leading, and we're so focused on them and how they're moving forward, what they're focused on, and how we can support them that a lot of times we forget to focus on ourselves. But I've found time and time again that we need to be focused on ourselves first and foremost to support our well being, to take care of ourselves so that we can, in turn, take care and support other people to our best ability. And you can even think about it more specifically. Think about the times when you haven't slept well, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not exercising as much as you used to. And think about how you show up at work on those days or those weeks. It's probably different, right? You're lower energy, maybe you're a little bit more snippy towards people. You're maybe not able to think as creatively or strategically. You're kind of just reacting to things around you. Does this sound familiar? Yeah, we've all been there. We've all had our bad days, our off days, our tired days, whatever the case may be. So I want you to start shifting this focus that instead of that being more often than not, I want you to start thinking about how you can first and foremost, especially at the beginning of your day, take care of yourself. So again, even if maybe you're having an off day, it won't affect you as much. Because when it is affecting you this often, it's affecting the rest of your team, it's impacting the performance of the team and yourself, and it's probably draining you a lot. It's probably taking a lot from you. And then guess what? When you get home, you're probably also going to be snippy with the people that you live with your family. You're not going to be as present with them. You're exhausted. You have nothing left to give to them. And then even later in the day, you have nothing left to give yourself, right? You're just going through the motions. Then you're just already focused on the next day, worried about how things might change tomorrow. And I want you to have more space in your life, have more energy in your life, and more presence in your day to day. And how you can do that is by taking care of your own well being. This really is a prime example of this idea that we need to slow down in order to speed up. And I use this phrase a lot because it's so, so helpful in so many different ways. Here specifically, it's this idea that we need to spend a little bit of time at the beginning of our day, at the beginning of our week, to think about ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to plan proactively so that we're not just going through the motions and reacting on a day-to-day basis. We need to invest a little bit more time in the upfront in order to be more effective in the long term. And I know this can be hard for a lot of people. We tend to be resistant to spending a little bit of time on ourselves because we think, oh, we need to keep powering through. We're so busy. We need to be taking care of this, and that for all these other people around us. And especially as women, we are such givers and nurturers that we want to take care of all the people in our lives and all the people at our work. And we tend to want to put them before ourselves, right? This tends to be very normal for us and very natural for us. But I want you to start thinking about how you can show up for them even better when you're taking that little bit of time for yourself at the beginning of the day, at the beginning of your week. You'll be able to handle difficult situations a lot easier. You'll be able to think more strategically, more creatively. You'll be able to support people better than you would if you're not taking care of yourself. Because then usually a lot of times our emotions come to this boiling point and it's just constantly simmering and boiling, and any one thing could cause it to boil over. So we want to be taking care of ourselves. So we're bringing that boiling point down. We're not constantly on edge. We're not constantly emotionally charged, but we're really taking care of our own emotions so that when other emotionally charged situations come up or difficult conversations, difficult situations come up, especially at work, we're able to handle those and be cool, calm, and collected and not also get emotionally charged like whoever else is involved. So my favorite way of thinking about well-being and self-care is the classic metaphor about filling your own cup. You've probably mostly all heard this before, but I'm going to go through it very quickly so we're all on the same page. This idea, this metaphor about filling your cup is this idea that our cup represents our capacity for energy. And the liquid, or whatever your favorite liquid is, you're filling this cup, that represents your energy. So it's essentially like your own battery, right, for how you're showing up, for your energy for the day. And a lot of us tend to pour from our cup into other people's cups, right? We're supporting other people, we're investing in them, we're giving them our time and our thoughts and our ideas, especially thinking about different work situations. As a leader, you're pouring into other people's cups. The problem for most leaders is that we're not refilling our own cups, or we're not doing it consistently enough. We're maybe only doing it on the weekends when we have more time, quote unquote. We have more time for ourselves. We have more maybe space in our calendar or whatever it is. But I want you to start to challenge yourself to think and check in with yourself more often about your own cup, about your energy. This is super important because we're supporting other people. We want to continue to build our relationships even at home with our family, but we can't do that when our cup is empty. We can't pour from an empty cup. I'm going to say that again. You can't pour from an empty cup. And so many of us try to do that because we're just continually pouring in other people and supporting them without refilling our own cup. Or we're waiting for that big vacation that we had planned in order for us to refill our cup, but that's still months away, right? And a lot of times we're not going to make it to that. And when your cup is empty, that's when we're going to fall into overwhelm, anxiety, burnout, things like that, where you simply have nothing left to give and you are just on autopilot. You are just going through the motions and you start to wear away physically, emotionally, and maybe even mentally. And these are all parts of our cup. So I like to think about our well being and the things that fill our cup from a few different angles of well being. First, we have our physical well being. And this is, of course, our exercise, it can be our nutrition, but also very importantly, our sleep habits go into this bucket. Then we have our emotional well being. This is, can you understand and identify and manage your own emotions? Then our mental well being is about our stress, it can be about our relationships with other people, and even our intellectual curiosities and growth. Then lastly is our spiritual well being. This can be either a religious or spiritual belief, or maybe it's simply believing in something bigger than yourself or having some greater purpose in life. So when we're looking at well-being, I like to look at all four of these. We have our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being, and all of these will help fill our cups. A lot of my clients who are women leaders and mothers have found the most success by filling their cup more often by adding a simple habit of just getting up a little bit earlier every day. And I know no one likes to do that, and it can be really hard in the moment. And especially the first week or two when you start doing this, it feels really tough in the moment to get yourself out of bed a little bit earlier. But I've found time and time again with these clients when they're able to get even just 10 minutes to themselves in the morning before their kids wake up, just to maybe sit and read a book, maybe they're meditating a little bit, or honestly sitting in silence drinking their coffee, they always say that their day goes so much better. They're more intentional, they're more proactive, and they have so much more patience for their kids and their family. This idea of filling your own cup is really bringing that energy up to the surface for you so that you can be there and be more supportive of those around you. It's really, really powerful. Start with just 5 or 10 minutes a day, and you might even find yourself going up from there. So where should you start? Especially if this is all brand new to you, I want you to start by just taking an inventory of your cup and thinking about your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Maybe even journaling a little bit about each of these categories and rating yourself on a scale, say 1 to 5, 1 being very low, 5 being the highest. Where would you rate currently where you're at today? Where would you rate each of these 4 categories? And maybe start doing this more regularly, maybe on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. See how it's changing from day to day and check in to see which category is maybe the lowest that you want to focus on first. And start to think about, even more generally than that, when is your cup full? When is it drained? Can you start to tell that difference even throughout the day, throughout the week? Oftentimes, I've found with most of my clients, usually our cups are pretty filled on the weekends when we are in more control of our schedule and our day to day, and we're doing more fun activities. But then it slowly dwindles throughout the week until we're usually hitting a empty or negative balance come Thursday, Friday, sometimes even Wednesday if it's a busy, stressful week. So think about those different factors on a day to day basis and a week to week basis that are influencing your cup. And then the next layer is starting to think about what are those activities that will fill your cup? What are those activities within each of those different categories? And even just generally, if you don't want to break it down that specifically to those four areas, just think generally. What are the activities? What are the things that really light you up? What are things that energize you? What are the things that excite you? What are the things that bring you more energy in your day to day? Some of my personal favorites here are simply taking 3 deep breaths can really help energize me, especially if I don't have much time. If I'm about to hop on a call, that can go a long way for filling my own cup very quickly. Even just going outside, going for a quick walk, different exercise routines really energize me too. Calling a friend, checking with them, going to meet up with a friend at a park, lots of things outside. So think about what those activities are for you that really light you up, bring you energy, and help make your day even better. And then from there, I want you to think about how to incorporate more of these activities in your life on a day to day basis. So, again, an example earlier is waking up a little bit earlier and doing one of these activities right away in the morning. I think, especially a lot of times when we're hearing people talk about their morning routines, it's so unrealistic that people are talking about doing these 6 different things or they spend a full hour, 2 hours doing these things. I'm not recommending that here, and I think that's very unrealistic for 98% of the population. So I think for you, especially if you're first starting out, just pick one activity that fills your cup. You may even wanna start with that list. Think of 5 to 10 things that do fill your cup and think about the ones that you can do by yourself, think about the ones that involve other people, and pick one in the mornings. Just one. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, it could be an hour, whatever you have that day. Just do one thing in the morning to fill your cup and notice how your day changes. But then also think about how you can help reset and start to refill your cup throughout the day. A lot of us, our biggest problem is that we are draining more than we are filling our cup. So think about those activities that are draining you throughout the day and anticipate when you'll need to start refilling your own energy, your own cup throughout the day. So for me, when I'm doing presentations, when I'm networking out and about, when I'm driving around all day, those can take a lot of my energy. So I'm usually blocking my calendar after any of those big events so that I can refill my cup by getting some alone time, some quiet time. Maybe it's just making a cup of tea and sitting by myself. Sometimes it's watching trashy TV. I'm not gonna lie, that can refill my cup. So think about what activities can drain you and what activities you can then add in as a buffer, add into your schedule, add into your routine that can help boost your energy and anticipate when you're going to be draining your energy. And sometimes it's even just adding a 5 to 15-minute break on your calendar each day so that you can preemptively plan for this and take that break. A lot of us ambitious women want to just keep powering through, want to get through our workday. We want to keep going and going and going, so it can be hard to stop. But if you're planning it in advance, it makes it a lot easier. Block a few minutes on your calendar and even maybe in the calendar invite, put those few activities that you want to be doing and pick one in the moment, whatever feels best for you in the moment. All right, as we're wrapping up today, here's a quick summary and our biggest takeaways from today and what I want you to take forward with you about our conversation on well-being. First is just getting more familiar with your own energy levels in your cup. And if you can get more specific, think about it more regularly on a day-to-day basis throughout the day, noticing when you're starting to drain your energy, when you're losing your energy, and maybe even doing an inventory on the 4 different well-being categories of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being, and see where you're at and see what we're starting with. And then think about what are those specific activities that fill your cup and how can you start incorporating them into your day-to-day more regularly specifically starting with the morning. I recommend every single person do one thing every morning, start the day with something that fills your cup. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.